What if I told you that there were places in this country right now where the ground itself tells the truth that our schools refuse to teach? Places where names of the lynched hang overhead, and where you can sit at the same counters where students were beaten for demanding dignity, where the blood and courage of the civil rights movement still speaks louder than any textbooks ever will. These aren't just museums. These are sacred sites. Now, if you're a parent or a grandparent or an elder in charge of teaching the next generation, then this video is for you. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone raising children, especially Black children, and join our private Facebook group for deeper conversations. And don't forget, our Black History book library is in the description below. The struggle for civil rights in America is not confined to textbooks or distant memories. It lives on in our landscapes, museums, and memorials, all across America, from the South to our nation's capital. Powerful institutions preserve the truth, educate the public, and call us to action. Today, we will journey through such places. One no more important than the other, but each vital in understanding America's complex history and ongoing fight for justice. Our first stop, Montgomery, Alabama. The National Memorial for Peace and Justice. This solemn, haunting site is the nation's first memorial dedicated to the legacy of enslaved Black people, those terrorized by lynching and victims of racial segregation and police violence. Commissioned by the Equal Justice Initiative, this memorial features over 800 steel monuments. Each represents a U.S. county where documented lynchings occurred. Over 4,400 names are engraved. When you walk beneath them, they hang like the truth, undeniable, unflinching, and unforgettable. One visitor said, "As I walked through the hanging monuments, I felt the weight of history, so many lives taken, and so many names finally spoken aloud." It's not meant to blame, it's meant to acknowledge. And in acknowledgement, we find the beginning of healing and justice. When I myself visited this memorial, I couldn't believe my eyes. Immediately upon stepping inside of the place, I stopped. My mind raced, trying to process what I was experiencing. Some steel rungs had multiple names etched into them, each rung representing not a state, not a city, but a county. Can you fathom in your head right now how many lives that would be? I think it's safe to say that it would be hard for anyone who has not made the physical sacrifice for human and civil rights during that era to fully grasp the importance of being knowledgeable about what happened without physically visiting this museum. If you ever go there, it will change your life. A short walk away, the Legacy Museum, from enslavement to mass incarceration, tells the story of systemic racism across centuries. Built on a site where enslaved people were once warehoused, it uses immersive technology and original documents to make history impossible to ignore. You stand in a slave pen, you hear the voices, you trace the journey from slavery through Jim Crow all the way to today's prison system. Next, we visit the Freedom Riders Museum inside the former Greyhound bus station. This museum honors the courage of young Black and white activists who defied segregation in 1961. They were beaten, jailed, and nearly killed. They pressed on, and their bravery lives on in that place. We now move to the Rosa Parks Museum, which stands on the very site where she was arrested. But this museum tells the real story. Miss Rosa Parks wasn't just a tired seamstress. She was a strategic activist deeply involved in the fight for justice. Board a replica bus, witness her arrest, and feel the ripple effect of the 381-day boycott that changed a city and a nation. There's even a children's wing to start teaching our babies early. The National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Motel, Memphis, Tennessee. Noted as one of the nation's premier heritage and cultural museums, the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis is steadfast in its mission to share the culture and lessons from the American Civil Rights Movement and explore how this significant era contributes to shape equality and freedom globally. Established in 1991, the National Civil Rights Museum is located at the former Lorraine Motel, where civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968. Through interactive exhibits, historical collections, dynamic speakers, and special events, the museum offers visitors a chance to walk through history and learn more about the tumultuous and inspiring period of change. I revisited this museum in June of 2025. Amazingly, I felt the same then as I had during my initial visit. Learning from the museum gave me a new sense of pride and a sense of empowerment. It has so much to offer that I don't believe that you can get it all in just one visit. The International Civil Rights Center and Museum in Greensboro, North Carolina is the location of the famous Woolworth City Encounter at 134 South L Street, Greensboro. You can sit at the recreated counter and hear the taunts they endured. It's an education in the power of collective resistance and how HBCUs helped shape the movement. Animating the iconic F.W. Woolworth's landmark, the International Civil Rights Center and Museum opened in 2010 as a comprehensive museum of the civil rights movement and the innovative educational organization devoted to understanding and advancing civil and human rights in this country and the world. It commemorates the February 1st, 1960 sit-ins at a whites-only lunch counter in Greensboro by 4 black college students from North Carolina A&T State University: David Richmond, Frank McCain, Ezell Blair, and Joseph McNeil. Their nonviolent direct action, in conjunction with their colleagues at Bennett College, ignited the sit-in movement that renewed the civil rights movement as a whole, challenged the Americans to make good on promises of personal equality and civic inclusion enunciated in the Constitution. The ICRCM commemorates the brave and visionary advocacy of full citizenship and social justice. In Atlanta, the National Center for Civil and Human Rights connects our story to global movements. Yes, you'll see the civil rights movement, hear Dr. King's voice, and relive those marches. But you'll also explore LGBTQ+ rights, immigrant struggles, and global human trafficking. One visitor said, "It's eye-opening to see how movements in America connects to the struggles in South America, Syria, and beyond." This museum doesn't just look back, it's a call forward. Now, let's talk about what's being called the crown jewel, the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. This place is personal to me. In 2011, my own book, A Time for Everything, the Kevin Zimmerman Story, was accepted into this museum. That was one of the most proudest moments in my life, to know that they would place that book in its archives. Now, from Harriet Tubman's shawl to Emmett Till's casket to Chuck Berry's Cadillac, this place tells the story in full color and in full truth. You descend into slavery, then rise through Reconstruction, resistance, and Black excellence. The building itself is shaped like a Yubian crown. It is sacred ground. And now we walk. The Selma to Montgomery National Historic Trail covers 54 miles. This is where marchers faced dogs, clubs, and hate on Bloody Sunday. But they didn't stop. They marched so that we could vote. Start at the Edmund Pettus Bridge and end where Dr. King said, "How long? Not long." I encourage you to walk it. Let's teach our children what that kind of courage looked like. Lastly, visit the Birmingham Civil Rights National Monument. It centers on the 16th Street Baptist Church, where 4 little girls were killed in a bombing by the Ku Klux Klan. Around it are Kelly Ingram Park and the A.G. Gaston Motel, where strategy meetings were held in secret. These places are soaked in sorrow, but also in the blood of bravery. They remind us what it costs to change a nation. These museums are not presented to you in any particular order. All of them are important and tell a unique story, and there are more. It is important to note that what we are witnessing in the current political landscape is not normal. In order to navigate a way forward, it is important to know the plight of Black America and what it's already taken. These museums can offer some insight on how we have overcome roadblocks in the past and help to identify what looks awfully familiar today. Given the opportunity, these museums and many more across the country can exceed our expectations if we visit them. If this video moved you, don't let it stop here. Visit these sites, teach what you learn, and remember, the fight for justice wasn't just marched, it was mapped, it was memorialized and built into the very soil of this country. Today's book recommendation is The Ground Has Shifted, The Future of the Black Church in Post-Racial America by Walter Earl Fluker. It examines how Black spaces like the church and movements must respond in today's culture and climate. You can find that book and more in our Black History Library, and the link is in the description below. Now, if you're a parent and a grandparent, I want to challenge you. Don't just watch this video alone. Sit down with your children and your grandchildren and watch it together. Talk to them about it. Ask them what they think and what they feel and what questions they may have. That's how we make sure that our stories don't get erased. Now, if this content resonates with you, make sure that you subscribe to Unlocking Black History. The link is in the description below. Like this video and leave a comment of your reflection. And most importantly, share this with someone else on our journey.